Jesus, Jason. Stop spam calling me at work. What's wrong?
What the heck was today's lunchbox? You think it's acceptable to send me to work with that crap?
Your lunchbox? What about it?
Don't play dumb with me, bitch! I can tell the difference between fresh and frozen ingredients. Do not cut corners with my meals.
Wow, what the hell? Where do you get off speaking to me like that? Did you seriously call me 25 times while I was at work over your freaking lunchbox? I was in the middle of an important meeting.
What could possibly be more important than my lunchbox?
Is this a joke?
Why aren't you doing your job properly? Do you have any idea how badly your lunchbox embarrassed me? I couldn't be seen eating that frozen poor people's slop in front of my coworkers. But still, I had to eat. So I ate it in a toilet cubicle instead.
You didn't have to do that. No one cares about your lunchbox, Jason. Besides, even if they did care, how do you expect anyone to know the difference between frozen and fresh by looking at it across a dinner table?
No. I knew, so why wouldn't they? You want me to be known as a guy who eats peasant lunchboxes, do ya? Don't ever embarrass me like that again.
Who even cares about stuff like that? You know what? If my lunchboxes are so awful, you can start fixing your own lunches. I get up first thing every morning to make sure you have something to eat at work in spite of the fact I always have early meetings to go to. I don't have the time to make everything with fresh ingredients by hand all the time.
Are you really a woman?
Obviously, I am. Why?
If you're really a woman, why can't you cook? No self-respecting woman would make a lunchbox like that.
You're deluded if you think being a woman alone equates to cooking ability. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses regardless of gender.
Oh yeah? Well, my mom doesn't just make the most delicious food in the world. She also does the housework perfectly.
And so the dreaded mom comparisons begin. When are you going to stop comparing me with her? We're different people. Your mom's been a stay-at-home housewife for over 30 years. I work full-time at a very stressful job, so just stop this crap already. You may as well be comparing apples to oranges.
It's only natural for me to compare you. There wasn't a single speck of dust to be found in my mom's place back when I lived with her before we got married. There were no mountains of unwashed laundry of the kind that are a daily occurrence in the dump we call a home. She cooked me 3 meals a day with fresh ingredients by hand.
Great! So your mom's a stay-at-home housewife and I'm not. What's your point? Me and you work full-time. How can you possibly compare us? You have no idea how hard it is to run a household because you've never lived on your own.
What a joke! How hard can housework be? You'd never catch my mom complaining like this. She keeps the house in perfect condition, and she does it with a smile on her face. You're just lazy and incompetent.
And you don't have a clue what you're talking about, man-child. If your mommy's cooking is so amazing, why don't you pack your things and scoot back off to her place where you can be waited on hand and foot 24/7?
Why you gotta turn on me like this, huh? You're so freaking antagonistic. God, you make me mad.
I make you mad? Give me a break. Not only do you disturb me with trivial crap while I'm at work, but you're constantly crying about trivial crap while I'm at home too.
Who the hell do you think you're speaking to, woman? You will show the man of this house his proper respect. You said you'd do your best to juggle the housework with work before we got married. Stop breaking your promise.
That was back when I had no idea how aggressively you were gonna force it on me. Would it really kill you to do some of it yourself? It couldn't be any more obvious your parents never made you lift a finger at home.
No, I just didn't have to because my mom did her job as a woman, unlike you. You could learn a thing or two from her. When the heck aren't you home, woman? Do you know what time it is? It's almost 10 p.m. You better not be doing overtime. Holy mother of God. Did you go out drinking with your girlfriends without my permission?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did exactly like I told you I would before I went to work this morning.
I never gave you permission to do that. I made it very clear that you would not be going out for drinks with the girls. I don't give a heck how much you think you need to let your hair down.
I don't need your permission to go out with my friends, Jason.
Oh, yes, you do!
Christ! Calm down, you psycho. It's just a little get-together with my coworkers. I could hardly be the only no-show. And what exactly is the problem with me being there?
Because you're not here doing the housework. Do you have any idea how much laundry is piled up in the kitchen? Who the hell do you think you are, slacking off on your duties at home to go out and get wasted like this? You're a disgrace to the female race.
A disgrace to the female... You know what? Forget it. I don't have the energy to deal with you anymore. What's the harm in me going out for one night? I never get to go out. You always go out for drinks with your buddies. Why is it one rule for you and another for me? You go out at least twice a week, every week, no matter what. This is unfair, and you know it.
I can do what I want, I'm a man.
I don't understand your logic. Why do you get to go out with your friends and I don't? Just because I'm a woman?
Because a woman's place is in the kitchen, cooking my supper.
I didn't realize I was married to a caveman. Did you time travel from the Stone Age? I should start calling you Grug. You know what, Grug? You're gonna have to go out and hunt your own supper tonight.
Don't get clever with me, woman. Use your brain. One of us has to stay home and watch the house.
Sure, but that still doesn't. I should be able to go out sometimes. I work so hard at home. Would it hurt you so much to let me go out for one measly night out once in a blue moon? I'm a human being too, you know. It's not like I don't enjoy doing all the housework, but I'd go crazy if I was stuck at home all the time. I'm your wife, not your maid.
I'm so disappointed in you, Maria. You're clearly not serious about your role as my wife.
How so?
If you were, you wouldn't send me to work with cheap frozen crap in my lunchbox. And you wouldn't go out to get wasted with your girlfriends with mountains of laundry sat at home. You're not fit to call yourself a wife.
How many times do I have to tell you I'm not a stay-at-home housewife? I work full-time and bring a lot of money home every month. My contribution might not be in line with your antiquated view of how the world should be, but I contribute nonetheless. I'm juggling the housework with my job and you have no right to complain at me.
You bring home a lot of money? I've met homeless people who make more money than you.
Excuse me?
You could quit your job today and it wouldn't affect our finances. And Dad would even notice. You know, I always wanted you to stay home and look after me and the house full time. The only reason I allowed you to carry on working is because I'm kind. But if you're gonna neglect the house this much, I'm gonna have no choice but to make you quit your job and ban you from working.
Who do you think you are? Why do I need your permission to do anything?
I am the man of this house. My word is law.
You're pathetic, Jason. Give it a break already. There's no way I'm quitting my job. I worked so hard at this company to get where I am today. Why should I throw it all away?
Then start doing the damn housework properly. I tell you what, if we don't start making this house sparkle soon, we're getting a divorce.
Well, now I've heard it all. Why would you even say something like that?
My patience has reached its limit.
That's my line.
You'd never be able to cope without me. If we get a divorce, your life is as good as over. How are you gonna get by without my salary popping you up? You'd be a crumpled, tear-stained mess on the floor the moment you heard my words.
Where does this inexplicable confidence of yours come from? It'd be impressive if it wasn't so tragic.
You can say what you like. I know you're head over heels in love with me. You're the one who asked me out, remember? You'd be in floods of tears if I dumped you.
But what if I wasn't? What if I was actually pleased?
No chance. You're the one who's always all over me like a bad rash whenever we're together. It's obvious you're madly in love with me. And why wouldn't you be? I'm good-looking, intelligent, witty, confident, charismatic, tall, have a good job, well-endowed, and most importantly, humble.
Have you heard of the word narcissist before?
Stop trying to sound clever with big fancy words, babe. It doesn't suit you.
I guess it makes no difference to me whether your head's stuck up your own ass. Divorce is fine by me.
Hey, watch your mouth! Suggest you choose your next words very carefully. You should know I won't take you back no matter how desperately you cling.
Don't worry, there's no danger of that. Desperately clinging to the likes of you is the last thing on my mind.
Sup, it's been a while. Living a life of tragic despair after the divorce, are we? Should I be a gentleman and send you some sympathy money?
What do you want? I don't need your money.
Geez, Maria, I only offer because I was worried about you. Anyone would think you'd be more grateful. Go on, admit you're hopelessly broke, depressed, and struggling to find a reason to live without me. Let's face it, it's basically over for you after getting dumped at your ripe old age.
Why would I be depressed?
You don't have to put on a bold front with me, Maria. It's obvious you're hurting inside. Listen, babe, I'm such a nice guy. I'm willing to remarry if you apologize. But only if you promise to fulfill your womanly duties and never disobey me this time.
Thanks for the offer, but I'm fine as I am. I'm about 1,000,000 times happier than I was when we were together. This luxury high-rise apartment is great.
Huh? Luxury high-rise apartment? What?
Yep, I moved into those new luxury high-rise apartments on 5th Street. The views to die for, especially at night. I can see the whole cityscape. The rooms are so gorgeous, and the security system's world-class.
What the hell? How the heck is a brokey like you living in the new apartment block on 5th Street? I heard there were A-listers living there.
A brokey? How much do you think I make? I mean, sure, it's not like I'm the one who pays the rent.
You don't pay rent? How is it possible?
A special someone's letting me live here with them. It's my boyfriend's apartment.
You have a boyfriend? But it's barely been 6 months since the divorce.
So, divorced means divorced. I'll do as I please.
No way! What kind of fruitcake would want you as their girlfriend? Man, some people have the strangest taste.
I was surprised too, but I have tons of guys making advances at me as soon as we divorced.
As soon as we divorced? Wait, you mean they had your sights on you the whole time?
This might be a tough one for you to swallow, but there are some guys who are actually into girls who are committed to their careers. My current boyfriend is one of those guys who invited me on a date after the divorce. Unlike you, he actually respects me. We split the housework 50-50. Plus, he's handsome and ripped. He's amazing. I feel like I hit the jackpot.
What the hell is this? So, you pick guys based on their willingness to do housework now. The only reason any guy would do housework is because they don't have any confidence in their ability to do their job. So you badge yourself a wet noodle of a man and actually think that's something worthy of bragging about? Even if he does live in a luxury apartment, an apartment is still an apartment. If he was really all that special, he'd live in a house or a mansion.
Oh no, he earns way more than you. He outclasses you so hard in every possible way you might as well be called different species. You're definitely not in any position to be criticizing him, brokey.
He does? How did you meet a guy like that? And so quickly?
We've known each other for a while, actually. He's one of my major clients at work. He said he'd had a thing for me a while, but he never made any moves because he knew I was married. He was so pleased when he found out I was single. By the way, he works for a company so big, there's pretty much no one on the planet who hasn't heard of them.
So you got over the crushing heartbreak of losing me by finding someone richer? You shameless parasite! I always knew you were a worthless good-for-nothing.
The only parasite here is you. I'm not interested in him for his money.
You just said he was paying your rent. That could only mean he's covering all your living expenses. You goddamn gravy train riding, freeloading, gold-digging leech!
What makes you think that? The only reason I don't pay rent is because there is no rent. The apartment belongs to him.
He owns an apartment in the luxury high-rise on 5th Street? Just how rich is he?
We split the utilities. I either buy my own food or we go halves from month to month. I have plenty of money on my own. And when there's something to be paid, I pay it. I have no need to parasite like you seem to think I do.
But you barely make anything. How could someone like you be with someone so rich? He's out of your league. You'll never last.
The thing is, Jason, you don't actually know how much money I make, do you? Go on, have a guess. What's my monthly take-home?
$1,000 at best.
Oh no. Is that your final answer?
Is it wrong? Didn't you say that before?
That was before we got married. Plus, it was before I got my new job. Of course, how could you possibly know how much I make these days? I never told you. You left all the taxes and bills to me, so it's not like you could have found out that way either. How silly of me. Of course you didn't know.
Well, tell me then, how much do you make?
$4,000 a month.
After taxes?
After taxes.
You're lying. No way. There's no way you make more money than me.
It's the truth. That's why I always wondered what the hell you were talking about when you got carried away bragging about your salary. To think you actually thought I'd struggle without you, it's hilarious. I'm not struggling for money, and I'm not struggling for men.
Well, why didn't you tell me that you'd made that much before you divorced?
If anything, aren't you the one struggling without me? There's not much hope of you doing the housework or laundry. I doubt you'd know where to start. I bet the house is overflowing with garbage.
No, it's not. My mom comes over to do the cleaning.
Of course. How could I forget your mother complex? Of course. Your mommy's gonna come over and wipe your bottom if you're a man-child and capable of taking care of himself. How foolish of me not to realize.
I do not have a mother complex.
I don't know, Jason. It doesn't look good. What kind of 35-year-old can't get by without his mommy coming over to clean up after him? Pathetic.
You shut your mouth! Actually, I'm having a blast without you around. Things have never been better. Divorcing you was like having the most enormous weight lifted off my shoulders. Best decision I ever made.
Ah, I see. Well, I'm pleased for you. I hope you carry on having a blast. I couldn't be happier either.
I'm begging you, please come home.
Uh-huh. Excuse me? Where did that come from?
I want us to give things another shot. Please come home.
Are you insane? Didn't you say divorcing me felt like having the weight lifted from your shoulders? I thought you were having a blast.
I was just trying to put on a brave face. I was jealous because you had this happy new life and I was all alone. Miserable and depressed, so I lied. I'm lost without you.
Lost? If it's the housework you're talking about, surely you can get your mom to do it.
I don't mean the housework, I mean financially.
Huh? Money? But I don't remember your salary being that low. Even if you do make less than a third of the money I do, surely you can still live comfortably as long as you spend within your means.
The payment reminder letters started showing up not long after the divorce.
For the credit card?
There is that, but then there's the loans I took out. And then there's the repayments on my college debt, tax arrears, and a bunch of other stuff.
You mean you haven't been paying all that stuff? Freaking tax arrears? Jesus, Jason.
I had no idea how much I was spending every month. I was kind of just coasting by without paying the finances much mind. And before I knew it, my bank account was empty.
I see. I guess it was me who used to be taking care of paying off all that stuff. So you carried on living exactly as you were while we were married on 2 salaries? Obviously, things were gonna get rough for you. Didn't you make any effort to adjust your spending to your new situation?
I had no idea how much I was spending every month. When I finally realized I had loan repayments to keep on top of, I had no money left.
When you say loans, do you mean the ones you took out for the stuff like the car, the motorbike, and your guitar? I told you you were the one being irresponsible back then, but you didn't listen.
The repayment dates were closing in and I didn't want the interest to add up. So I took out another loan to pay off my loans. Now I'm up to my ears in debt and don't have a clue what to do.
Right. You're stuck in quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. It's a vicious cycle.
Exactly!
Sorry, but I'm not helping you. You're the one who divorced me. I was willing to try and make things work, but you're on your own now. Take responsibility for your own mistakes.
But I'm finished at this rate! Please, I have no one else to turn to. I'm begging you! Please help!
Why don't you see if Mommy will give you some pocket money? She's always the first one you run crying to when you're struggling. So why me now?
I did ask my mom, but she said no. Things are tight enough for her as it is on her retirement fund. She can't afford to spare anything.
Figure it out yourself then. I'm living happily with my new boyfriend. I have absolutely no intention of taking you back. Me and Chad are getting married next year.
We've barely been divorced for 5 minutes and remarriage is already on the cards. Oh my God, Maria. How could you do this to me?
What the hell? You divorced me, Jason. What are you even saying? Besides, it'll have been over a year by then. We started dating on the premise of marriage from the get-go. You have no right to complain about anything.
Weren't we happy together, babe? Didn't we have something special? You're my sugar dumpling and I your honey pie.
Sure. To begin with, things soon went south when you thought you had me trapped. Looking back on it, all you did was hold me back. My relationship with Chad couldn't be any more different. We're equal partners and he doesn't try and make me treat him like my lord and master.
You're right, babe. I was arrogant. I swear I'll never do anything like that again. You said yourself things were good at the start. We can go back to that, can't we? I swear I'll make you happy this time.
You couldn't possibly make me happy. Even if we did live together, you'd only leech me off like the parasite you are. I'd have to be crazy to take you back. Because I think a husband and a wife should be equals. Goodbye. I heard through the grapevine that my struggling ex-husband worked day and night, holding down 3 jobs to keep on top of his exorbitant debt repayments. The divorce with me was the first time in his life he'd ever lived on his own. Predictably, he had absolutely no conception of how much things cost, or how to plan a sensible budget, and as a result, well, you read the messages. I did at least expect him to put a little thought into planning out his new life. I guess I overestimated him. Not only did Jason have no idea how much things, taxes, or utilities cost, he also had no idea how to pay them. It's hard to believe people like him exist. It's even harder to believe I was married to one. I told my new boyfriend all about my ex-husband and his weird and whimsical shenanigans. He looked at me with a perplexed frown and said, "You married a guy like that? Didn't you feel like you were a little mismatched?" Needless to say, he was confused to say at least. Looking back, I can't help but ask myself the same thing. Why did I marry Jason?
Meg, thank you so much for the marriage presents. I loved the taste of that strawberry cake so much. I'll make sure to not eat it all in a day and to share some with my husband.
That's not a present for you getting married. It can be anything but that.
Oh, is that so? I heard from your mom, though, that that's exactly what the cake was. She told me to think of it as a present from you congratulating us both.
Actually, just the other day, I went with my mom to a bakery and got that cake while we were there. And since we had bought a whole bunch of other baked goods and desserts, she asked me to send you guys the cake, and so I did. And actually, I don't really care that you ended up getting married to my brother.
Well, then I won't be calling it a present anymore, and we'll just say thank you for the cake.
You really are such a princess, aren't you? So kind and thoughtful of me and everyone else in my family. It's almost like you're being too kind and have something else on your mind that you're after. But I was just being kind because you're my sister-in-law. I didn't mean anything else by that. We haven't spoken to one another much, and so my understanding was that until I got to know you all better, it would be safe to be as kind as possible and show you that I'm happy for being in the family. That's right, you're not a real princess, because I'm the actual princess. My dad is a business owner, and I was born into a very affluent family. Even this house that we live in is worth more than what most people can make in their lifetime. But in your case, your dad bought the house your parents live in 30 years ago, right? That's right, but I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. Well, my dad made sure that we were all raised in a house that had more than enough space that some days we'd never see one another. Far different from the 2-room shack you grew up in. I haven't seen the house your parents have yet, but I can assure you I know that it's on the verge of collapsing because of how cheap it is. I do think that the house is quite amazing that your family has. I'm sure that your family has been keeping that in great condition while continuing to keep the family company alive. That's right. Compared to your family, we are like kings and queens here. Yet, why does my family think of you as a princess and accepts you into this family even though your family is low class? They should consider someone of your class as a peasant. I'm sorry that you think so poorly of my family, but we are getting married now, and your parents were the ones that said it'd be okay, especially considering they know me well. Well, I don't say it's okay. And what do you mean they know you well enough? Well, my dad and yours have known one another for a long time due to business. I know that. So that means my dad let my brother marry you out of pity, right? But that's not fair because unlike us, you'll be the only one getting an upgrade in the marriage. This isn't a marriage based off of anyone feeling pity for the other. We may have started going out together because our dads knew one another, but the both of us began to really love one another, and that turned into us choosing to get married. What love? I know you're after more than just my brother's love. What? You want to become a part of this family so that you can get into our money, right? And that's why you plan to become my brother's wife now. You may have everyone else fooled, but I have my eyes wide open and can see everything you're trying to do. I'm not hiding anything from your family, though. You keep treating everyone like you're some kind of princess, and they buy it because you can fake being kind and caring. There is no person on this planet that can be as kind as you and make yourself out to be. You've got a face on, right? Is there something wrong with me trying to be polite and respectful to everyone? You sound like you should be part of the royal family with that kind of talk. Well, I can tell it's all a lie. I'm sorry for that then. I didn't think that I was talking too politely with you guys. It's not just that though. I know you're doing it on purpose for my family's money. I'm not buying it though. Well, I'll try harder then to make sure that you can begin to trust me. I never will though. Now that I just remembered, do you think that you'll be going to your family gathering next month? I heard that everyone will be going back to your parents' house for an event. Of course, I'll be going. Then you and I will be able to meet one another. I'm looking forward to that day. You're coming as well? That's what's been planned for me at least. This is a family gathering, yet you think you can come and join us as well? Because I'm with your brother now, and am considered a part of your family. Why do you think you're allowed to be a part of this family? Because your brother is a part of your family, and he's chosen to be married to me. That's not enough to make you a part of my family. I want you to know that you shouldn't even be getting married to him. Even talking to you right now is pissing me the heck off. For the time being, know that you are not allowed to come to my family's gathering. Chloe, what are you thinking? I told you not to come to my family's gathering. What is wrong with you coming here acting as though nothing could go wrong? I'm sorry, but your mom was the one that invited me to be here. So there was no reason for me not to come today. Where are you even going right now? Did you go take our dog on a walk or something for us? Right now I'm at the bus station nearby.
I was able to walk all the way here, and it was a perfect exercise. Your dog is a pretty decent size, and so he was able to keep up with me.
You came to your husband's parents' house, and you chose to walk the dog?
Well, I love dogs. At my parents' house, we have 3 very huge Great Danes.
I don't care about that.
And since everyone was just taking it easy after dinner, I thought it'd be nice to get out and take the dog on a walk for everyone. He's so cute, isn't he?
And here we go again with you acting like nothing could go wrong. Do you think you'll get my family's love today by being all loving and close to the dog? This cannot go on. I cannot let you continue to try and steal this family's money.
No, I'm just doing this because I love dogs and love going for walks. And it's been a long time since I've taken a dog on a walk with me.
I told you you wouldn't fool me, didn't I? I know the kind of person you really are. I have to protect this house and my family from you at all costs.
Protect them from what?
You. I'm going to get rid of you. Today is the family gathering after all. And a stranger should be nowhere near me and my family on a day like this.
But I had told you all about this before, right? I have married your brother and am a part of this family now. I am a literal part of this very family.
You are nothing but a stranger. So I'm going to have to get you out of here forever. I already took all your things that you brought along and threw them outside.
You did that with my things?
When you get back from that walk, you take all your things and go home.
Where did you put them all? There isn't a good spot to be putting all my things outside, right?
I just threw all your things into the mud and grass.
Just like that? It only just rained a little bit ago, so that mud is really nasty now, correct? And you just put all my things into that?
Ah, now that you say it, there was a lot of water still pooled up on the surface of the yard. I'm so sorry that all your things are drenched and muddy now.
Can you at least grab all my things and put them in a dry spot for me? That bag that I had all my things in was a present from my parents for the wedding and all. It's very, very important to me.
Is that so? Why not just get divorced then? If you can leave my brother, then there will be no importance attached to that bag anymore, right?
But if I just leave without telling anyone, everyone might begin to worry about why I went home all of a sudden.
Nobody gives a crap about you being here or not. If anything, you being gone will make everyone here much more happy. Everyone's just being nice to you now, so that you don't get upset with them. Now hurry up and go home, you loser.
I see. I fully understand how you see and feel about me now. I'll head back home all by myself now.
Thank God you finally understood me.
I'm sorry for any troubles I may have caused you in the past. Now, you and your family enjoy the rest of your time here at their house.
Hey, where the hell did you go?
What do you mean by where? I did as you said and went back home.
Wait, come back here now. Hurry up and come back here now.
But you told me to go back to my house, right, Meg? So I have no urge to come back to you guys now.
Well, forget about what I said earlier. If you don't come back here, I'll be in trouble.
And what are you talking about that requires me to come back there?
My family told me that if I can't get you to come back here soon, they're going to have me kicked out of this house. I kicked you out for the safety of my family, yet now they are so upset with me for no reason.
But what if you didn't kick me out for all of them? I'm sure that your dad said something to you, right?
He said that me kicking you out of here could ruin his business. I don't get what he meant by that, but why would you have anything to do with his company when my dad is the most powerful man?
Did you not know anything about this?
What are you talking about?
You have known about the relation my father has with yours, right?
I know a little bit. They know one another because of work, right? And as of right now, they both work together, right? I heard that the two of them do huge business together, but...
Well then, did you know that it's because of my father that your father has been able to continue to do well with his company? He's your father's primary investor.
Primary investor?
So you haven't understood what's going on between them at all. You have always talked down about my family, but I had assumed you already knew of his position and everything and were still being rude to us.
Then what would happen if your dad happened to stop investing in my dad's company?
his company would fumble. And because that company is a huge part of your family, it would be a major loss to your dad and the whole family.
What?
My father and yours have been working hard to maintain the very important relationship that they have. And with me marrying your brother, the idea was that they would also have their relationship strengthened to continue doing great business together. But just to let you know, your brother and I getting married had nothing to do with our fathers. And even though it wasn't about them and their business, our father still saw the marriage as an important thing. It really improved the image of everyone when we did get married.
When you say image, my dad and his company's image has always been well respected, right?
And of course, my dad has always been a very well-respected investor, and that's why he was willing to invest in your father's company. But if my father happened to learn about you kicking me out of your house and perhaps your family, I think things would go extremely downhill for all of you.
Huh?
I come from a family where I've been sandwiched between both my brothers who've both picked on me plenty. But to my father, he sees me as his world because of that, and has always done his best to protect me over them because he knows my brothers can take care of themselves. So, if he were to hear about what you did to me today, he would most likely explode and take your family down.
And if that were to happen, what would happen to my dad's company? Don't tell me that your dad could make my dad's company go bankrupt.
Well, even I don't know what would really happen at that point. But because his company is huge and my father is very famous as an investor, I'm sure that it wouldn't be good for your father's reputation if my dad were to pull out.
You haven't told any of your family about this, right? Hurry up and come back here. I want you to come back so that I don't have to be kicked out.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm already gone.
Wait, but you're not home yet, right?
No, but soon.
Thank goodness. That means you can turn around and get back here soon.
No, I'm almost to my parents' house now.
Why are you going there?
Well, because something like this has happened to me. And you asked that I divorce my husband, right?
I never said anything like that.
But you told me that if I got a divorce, the ruined bag I received as a wedding gift from my parents wouldn't have meaning anymore, right? That's exactly what you said to me, right?
That was a joke, Chloe. I never actually thought you'd take my joke that seriously.
If I don't come back soon, you're going to get kicked out of that house, right? Well, I'm really considering getting a divorce now.
Well, don't do that. I'm asking you to please not think about that anymore. Okay?
I already planned to tell my husband that I won't be coming back to him anymore. And once I'm back at my parents' house, I'll let my dad know what happened. And then, what I told you will happen will very much happen to your dad's company.
Why don't you just stop and think about this? Please. What should I do about my family? They are all going to your parents' house right now, right?
I can see that you didn't come along. You ended up running away right before the rest of your family came. All your family showed up at my parents' place, and their faces were all ghostly white. And they all began to apologize to my family for what had happened.
I had to run from them. They were all seething at their teeth when I told them you wouldn't come back. They told me that I'd never see the light of day ever again. What have you said to all of them?
They are all talking about who will take responsibility for your actions and who will face the consequences in the end.
Everyone is pissed at me, right?
They really are. A little bit ago, we were all talking to each other, but right now, your father and mine are in my father's office having their talks.
Talking about your dad investing in my dad's company. Have they come to any conclusions yet?
Both of our fathers are business owners. They don't want to make each other look bad for something that has nothing to really do with their companies.
So that means your dad will continue to invest in my dad's company? Thank God.
After all, our fathers are very respectable and understand that they have to be responsible for one another's image as well. They made sure to talk about what could happen if my father pulled out of your dad's company. And that's where they drew a line.
Drew a line?
My father said that you'd be the one to take full responsibility for what consequences there are in the end. And he made it very clear to your father that as long as you're in the family, he cannot trust me with your father. That's what he said. And the line is crossed unless you are taken out of the family.
He wants me to be the one responsible for everything?
Well, what happened this time is all due to how you acted, correct? So there's nobody besides you that should be responsible for the situation, right? If your father was to take responsibility for you, then his company would go under. And then at that point, you'd go down with the rest of your family, right?
What is going to happen to me? Are they really planning to kick me out of the family? I've never had to live on my own before, though.
Well then, that's unfortunate for you, Meg.
You don't give a crap about me, do you?
I did at one point care about you, so you saying that hurts. But you happen to be the one to start all of this, so there's no hope for you anymore. Know this. Kicking you out of the family isn't the end of things for you.
What do you mean?
For as long as you've been in that house, you have been living off of your parents' money, right? And because of that, you haven't had to work a day in your life, yet you get to have everything you desire. Well, I'm sorry to say this, but that money is no longer going to be coming to you.
I have to make my own money now? That can't be. Why would they do something so heartless to me?
Meg, being an adult means that you have to make the money you need to live a life on your own. And in that case, you're well past the age of 18.
Well, I am not like all you other adults. I should be allowed to get money from them forever.
And right now, your parents are aware that they failed you by being so kind and spoiling you. And to everyone around you, they all know that you have been spoiled far too much. Maybe you should think of this as the perfect time to experience what life's like outside the comfort of your parents' home.
But you're in the same boat as me, right? Your dad has a company of his own and has been making a lot of money to support you all. So shouldn't you have been just as spoiled as I am? You can't tell me that I need to become an adult when you rely on your parents to live as well.
You think I'm the same as you? I have no idea what you mean by that, Meg. Can you explain to me in a bit more detail about what you're saying?
I'm saying that because your family has a lot of money like mine. You have been spoiled as well, right?
But even if that were to be the case, I've proved to everyone already that I have the ability to provide for myself without their money. I'm working a job and I make sure to support myself without any worries. And even if I lost my current job, I have been investing in stocks, so I can rely on that income for a little while. In the day I turned into an adult, I don't have any memory of getting money from my parents.
But your dad spoils you still, right?
Of course it's because of both of my parents that I was able to have a safe start in life and made it this far. But I have never had the thought in my mind that I'd ever use any of their money to live my life. To make sure that I'd be able to support myself, I put all my effort into studying and finding a good career. In your case, have you put any effort into something that you use to support yourself?
Are you trying to say that you and I aren't the same?
Well, I don't mean to be outright with it, but I am a far better adult than you.
I knew all along that you're the worst. You have no heart and act like a witch.
I don't think you and I will be meeting anymore after this. So like two complete strangers, all I can say is I wish you luck on your own. After that, Meg took any money she had left with her and was kicked out of the house. She was also told by everyone that she was no longer allowed to talk to any of them and that they were disowning her for good. Of course, she was not able to handle that news well, but her father happened to have security around his property at all times, and they were there to assist in walking her off of the property. Now, if she's not able to find a job while living off whatever money she has left, she is not going to be able to make it in this world. People always say that in one's most desperate time, they will show everyone who they really are as a person. And so I feel this is all on her and her character now to show those around her whether she really has the strength to come back from the dead or be lost forever. As for the line that was drawn by my father, Meg's family and mine are going to move on from this like nothing ever happened and without a single mention of Meg ever again. My in-laws do not seem to be hurt by the loss of their daughter, and my father and father-in-law are still in a strong relationship. I don't think my father was ever going to actually pull out from investing in my in-laws. I think he was just trying to make sure that Meg was never around our families ever again, and I'm happy for that. After a week of taking time to recover with my husband, him and I went back to his parents again to have another gathering, and I must say it's a lot nicer to be there when Meg isn't constantly trying to get rid of me. But of course, I won't tell anyone that I'm happy she's gone forever.
Hey Tony, I just wanted to let you know that I'm just finishing up my appointment with the doctors now. They said there's nothing wrong with the baby, and that things are going smoothly.
Okay, and so what?
So what? What do you mean? That's it. It's just that our baby is growing up and nothing seems to be the matter. I just thought that you might be curious about what the doctor had to say about it, is all.
I don't need you to contact with every single little update, you know. Especially if nothing has actually changed. Don't you know that I'm working right now? You should know better than to interrupt me.
But I would have thought that you're in the middle of your lunch break, no? Don't forget that I used to work for that same company up until a few months ago. I know the schedule. The whole reason I messaged you right now is because I knew you would be on your lunch break.
Yes, I am free. But just because I am, doesn't mean you should come and bother me with stuff like this. Don't you know how much of a pain it is having to reply to every little thing you send me? I'm supposed to be on break, but how can I relax if you never leave me alone?
Tony, what has gotten into you? All I'm doing is telling you about how our child is developing. There's no need to act this way. I just thought that you might care about what's going on with our kid. I'm its mother and I certainly care. What about you? Do you really have no interest in any of what I'm telling you?
To be honest, I really don't. In fact, the only reason we're having this kid is because my parents wouldn't shut up about how badly they wanted a grandchild. So if you think that I'm going to be doing any of the child rearing, you can think again. You are going to be doing everything for that little brat, and I'm not going to lift a finger to help you.
Tony, you do realize that this child will be our child, right? Don't you think you're being just a little irresponsible talking like that about your own kid?
And just what is so irresponsible about that? I know that you'll be able to take care of the little brat, so I feel fine just leaving it all in your hands.
Tony, I'm going to need more than just money to raise this kid. I'm going to need you there with me.
Well, you know that I work. I won't have the time or energy to spend on a kid after I get home. You're a housewife now, so you can take care of it.
Can you please just quit it with all this housewife talk? I'm sick and tired of you condescending to me over it. After all, you were the one who asked that I quit my job in the first place, remember?
I only asked you to quit because I know that we needed someone to take care of the kids and do all the cleaning around the house.
And you really have no problem with me being the one that does all of that? I don't want to be housewife, you know. I want to go out and work. Even just a part-time job or something to get me out of the house and talking to people, anything.
No, no, no! You need to be staying at home so that you can focus on cleaning and taking care of the kid when it comes.
But why can't I work too? It's the norm for both parents to work these days, and I want to as well. Why are you so opposed to me finding some work for myself?
Because we get along just fine on my salary alone. If you started working, all that would mean is we have to pay more in taxes.
Well, I guess that's not true. But does the fact that I want to work really mean nothing to you at all?
You were the one that wanted a kid in the first place, right? Well, I gave you what you want. So I don't get what you're complaining about now. If you wanted to work, then you should have thought about that before you asked to have a kid.
And you really don't want anything to do with raising the child with me at all? If you really didn't want to have a kid so badly, then I wish that you would have said something before getting me pregnant. Because hearing you talk about this child the way you have been has not been giving me confidence for a future.
Hey, it's already noon. Why aren't you home yet? Don't tell me that you're still out shopping right now. How long are you going to keep me waiting, huh?
Tony, I'm really sorry. I can't move right now. I'm just taking a little break. But I think I'm having cramps.
What? Right now? Like literally right this second?
I don't know. It's coming and going in waves. I think this might be it. I'm gonna try and go to the hospital. I think our baby is on its way.
Well, that's great and all, but did you finish the shopping at least?
You mean, did I buy the bag of potato chips that you wanted? Yes, I have them with me here.
Perfect. You should have started with that. Okay then. Go ahead and drop those off here for me, and then when you can, go to the doctor's office or whatever.
You want me to go to the hospital all by myself in this state?
Yeah, I'm working at home today, so I can't just run out and play hooky with you.
Tony, you have to come with me. This is our child we're talking about. Besides, I need you to drive me to the hospital.
Did you not read my last message? I literally just told you that I'm working and don't have time to goof off with you.
Please, don't you think this is just a little more important than getting your work done?
I don't know. I mean, it's raining pretty hard outside, and I'd hate to have to drive in this weather.
Are you kidding me right now? You're the one that sent me out to the grocery store in the first place, despite the fact that I'm 9 months pregnant. You were the one who wouldn't stop complaining until I finally agreed to buy you your stupid potato chips.
Okay, I don't really remember using any kind of language like that with you, so why don't you show me that much respect at least? I only asked you to go to the store for me because you're always complaining about not getting out of the house enough.
Do you know that I can't even see my ankles if I look down at my feet? Are you really going to ask a woman who might be in labor to walk to the hospital in the rain? What if I slip?
You women are all the same. You get one little baby growing inside of you, and then you think it gives you the right to boss around the man of the house.
Tony, what are you even talking about? I have put up with a lot of crap from you, but I think I finally hit my limit.
Is that supposed to scare me or something?
I just wish that you seemed to care more about becoming a father. Your wife is literally going to give birth soon, and you can't even be bothered driving her to the hospital? If you're like this now, then how are you going to be for the rest of our child's life?
I already told you the whole reason I even agreed to having a kid in the first place was because you and my parents wouldn't shut up about it.
You need to stop blaming the people around you for your problems. At the end of the day, you went along and got me pregnant. Knowing what that meant, we both need to take responsibility as this child's parents. Do you understand? Not your parents, not me alone, us.
Could you just leave me alone already? You were the one that wanted a kid, so you can deal with it.
I really can't believe this. It's like talking to a literal child. It's clear to me you're not ready to even be married, let alone a father.
And what is that supposed to mean? Just whose kid is this anyways, huh?
You know that it's your kid. That's why I'm telling you that you need to step up and care a bit more about what's happening right now. You need to take responsibility for this life that we're about to bring into the world.
Don't be such a drama queen, Danielle. You keep trying to speak as if I'm not doing any of this for the family, when I'm the only one of us out here working.
And that's all well and good, but doesn't excuse you from your other duties as a father. Maybe I'll just have to have a little chat with your mom about how you've been acting towards me over this. I'm sure she would love to know just how excited you are to take care of her grandchild, right?
You better not go and tell them anything about what I've said. I know that you'll just twist what I say around and confuse them.
Oh, really? I was just going to tell them what you told me. That the rain made you not feel like driving me to the hospital while I was labor in the supermarket. I don't think there's much to misinterpret there, don't you?
Okay, fine. I'll take you to the stupid hospital so you can do this stupid thing. Just quit bugging me about it, alright?
I really can't believe you. You really are just the worst. Do you know that, Tony? How could you just leave your pregnant wife on the side of the road? It's a crime what you've done to me.
What other choice did I have? I got a call from my office saying they needed me to come in. I had to kick you out and turn around and get to work.
I don't see why you couldn't have just dropped me off at the hospital first. Why would you think it's a good idea to just kick me out in the middle of the road while it's pouring with rain? I had to walk the rest of the way and got completely soaked.
But you had the kid and everything is fine, right? I knew you were being overdramatic about how hard being pregnant was. You clearly had enough strength and energy to get yourself to the hospital all by yourself. There was no need to start that fight with me like you did in the first place.
Do you have any idea of the state I was in by the time I reached the hospital? But thankfully, there was someone nice enough to pick up towards the very end and deliver me there on the last mile or so. And after a few hours of being labor, I did finally give birth. Thank you very much. You're just lucky that I didn't end up having our baby on the side of the road like some kind of animal.
You could have just called an ambulance to pick you up, you know. Or did you really forget that those existed? Maybe all that blood that should have been in your brain is going to the baby instead.
My phone didn't have any battery left. Besides, the road was so wet and slippery, and I was shivering so much. I really could have fallen and really hurt the baby.
You are always making such a big deal out of nothing. Do you enjoy living your life like that?
It's not me saying that. It's the doctor. All I was trying to do was protect that baby from any harm.
You really are so annoying. Anyways, I already explained to you that I did what I did because of work, so it's just that simple. Or do you want me to lose my job? Is that how you want to live? With no money at all?
Hello. I'm very sorry to be interrupting this conversation between you and your wife, but I'm the person who found Danielle on the side of the road and took her to the hospital. I just happened to be passing by and saw her walking when I offered her a ride.
I see. Well, thank you very much for doing that for my wife. But I don't quite understand what it is you think you're doing cutting into this private conversation. If you want some kind of reward for what you did, we can talk about that later.
No, that's not what I'd like to talk about. I'm just curious if you realize exactly what it is that you've done. For instance, did you know that by the time I picked up your wife that her water had broke?
Okay, and? I already knew she was going to give birth soon. That was always going to happen. Are you mad because it happened in your car or something? I could pay to have it cleaned if that's the issue. Just give my wife the bill and I'll deal with it when she comes home.
That's also not what I'm asking you about. What I want to know is if it's really true that the reason you kicked your wife out of the case was because you were called into work.
Yeah, that's what happened. But why do you care about any of that? I don't see how any of it is your business, really. I'm sorry, who are you again? Can you please give my phone back to my wife and go away?
I can do that in just a little bit. But first, I just wanted to give you one last chance to admit it. There was no call for you to return to the office, was there? But now there is. You should go to your office building and ask to speak with the company president. I think he'll be expecting you.
You want me to go and talk to the president of my company? I don't get it. What is this all about? Just tell me who you are.
Oh, right. I suppose I haven't said my name yet. I'm Penelope Freeman. Does that ring a bell?
Wait, Freeman? That's the same name as my company's president.
That's right. I'm assuming you're starting to put together a little better now, yes? I'm the president of the company where you work, and I know your wife quite well. I even sent you a letter congratulating you two when you get married.
Are you really Penelope Freeman?
Why would I be lying to you about something like this? The only person who's been telling lies this whole time is you, isn't it?
Wait a second, this is ridiculous. Why is the president of my company taking my wife to the hospital?
You really are a slow one, aren't you?
Right. Well, I'm truly terribly sorry about this, and I sincerely hope that my wife didn't make too much of a mess in your car. I promise to repay any damages she might have caused after you picked her up.
That is the least of my worries right now. What I am really just shocked at is the fact that my company hired someone like you to begin with. In fact, I called your manager and asked just who it was that called you into the office, and she told me that you were scheduled to work from home all day. Care to explain yourself?
Right, well, I lied. There was no one that called me into the office.
I see. So then why did you tell your wife that and then kicked her out? Was it supposed to be some kind of way of getting back at her for asking you to do more?
I guess I just wanted to let her know how frustrated I was getting with her. But it was the wrong thing to do and I shouldn't have done it.
Except that this isn't some little schoolyard incident where you can just write it off like that. You could have really hurt your wife and child. You realize that, don't you?
Was my wife really even in that much danger walking down the side of the road?
She was. Didn't she tell you that the doctor already told her that she was?
Well, I'm truly sorry about that. I really had no idea that was the case. I thought that she would have just thought to get an Uber or something like that. Or I thought that someone might come along and pick her up, and at least I was right about that.
You saw how hard it was raining outside. There was practically no visibility. other cars on the road might not have been able to see Danielle until it was too late. It was just lucky that I happened to see her when I did and was able to stop in time. By the time I picked her up, however, she had already been on the road an hour.
She was still on the road after an hour? I really had no idea about any of that. I thought that she would just have been walking for a little bit. I never meant to make her walk so far on her own like that.
It doesn't matter how long she was on the road by herself. Even 1 second was too much, you horrible man. You should consider yourself lucky that both your wife and child are okay. Anyways, I'm about to head back to the office, and I think it would be best if you did too. See you there.
Miss Freeman, are you there? I really just wanted to say how terribly sorry I am for the other day.
And just what are you referring to exactly?
I'm sorry for the trouble that I might have caused you yesterday. I acted out of order, and I shouldn't have done that at all.
I'm just curious if you realize just how much all of this is your fault. I take it that by now you're already aware that your wife has banned you from visiting her at the hospital, yes?
I did know about that, but how did you hear about that?
Well, I was with your wife in the hospital after I dropped her off, and she told me that she was going to ask the doctors not to let you in.
Oh, I see. Well, please allow me to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to help my wife get to the hospital. I've done a lot of thinking since last night and swear to never put her through something like that again.
I don't really think you need to worry about that happening. From what I understand, your wife is going to divorce you.
Wait, what? But my wife just had our kid. She can't just leave me. Besides, she doesn't even have a job.
You don't need to worry about that either. When we were talking yesterday, I offered her a position at our company. After all, she was a wonderful employee, and there's no reason why we shouldn't want her back.
But there's no way that she's going to be able to take care of that baby all by herself.
Well, she'll be able to, since I'm paying her enough to cover any expenses she might have. In fact, I was thinking that your position would be much better suited if your wife was working in it, don't you think?
You want to give Danielle my job? But then what am I supposed to do?
We'll transfer you to one of our branch offices, of course.
But why? I don't want to have to move my life into the middle of nowhere.
I've already heard all about you from your colleagues. They tell me that you're difficult to work with and that you're always dumping all of your own work on your subordinates. You're single-handedly bringing down the morale and productivity of your entire department.
I promise I'm not doing that at all. Everyone else is just lying to you about me.
I seriously doubt that. I talked to everyone one-on-one and all the stories they had about you matched up. And I have no other option but come to the conclusion that you are not good for business. So that's why it's best to send you far away from HQ.
But I worked so hard to get where I am today. That isn't fair. You can't just cast me out like this.
That is true, but your wife seems like an even better, harder working employee who will make up for your absence and then some. And if I can make a personal comment, I just simply don't like you and don't think you should be around Danielle when she comes back.
Wait, Mrs. Freeman, please. You have to rethink this.
Hello, Tony. It's Danny. Penelope has already gone home. I guess it sounds like I'm getting your job.
How could you do this to me? You've taken everything that I've worked so hard to achieve.
Well, it sounds to me like the company president has decided that you're not fit for the position anymore.
Well, that's just because you've ruined my reputation in her eyes. You're a horrible, evil woman, and you're trying to steal everything that I have.
This really is all just because you can't learn to get over yourself. You're not the main character of life, Tony. You need to learn to make compromises.
Well, what kind of compromise are you making where you're just trying to steal my job?
I didn't steal your job. I was given it by your boss. Don't forget that. And I was given it because you proved yourself incapable to handle the job professionally.
You won't be able to handle what I do, though. You think you can work and raise a child? That's never been heard of before. It's impossible.
Do you live under a rock or something? What decade do you think it is? That's even remotely close to being a true statement. You do know that Penelope is also a single mother, don't you?
Wait, what? She is? Well, then she probably just got her job because she had everything handed to her on a silver platter. Everyone gives single moms whatever they want. They have it so easy. You have no idea what it's like to be a man.
If you really think all of that is true, then I really just don't feel anything but pity for you. You should consider yourself lucky that nothing happened to me or the baby, or else you would get something much worse than a transfer to another branch. Now have a nice life, Tony! After that, it didn't take long for the divorce process to be finalized between Tony and I. Then, he was served with his now job posting out on the countryside in one of our smallest branches. With Tony gone, however, everyone at HQ's mood improved drastically, as did productivity. Few months later, my term of maternal leave has ended, and I returned to work at the company I quit working for to have my child in the first place. And yes, it is very difficult raising a child while working full-time. But I do get all the support one could ask from their job. And between bonding with Penelope and having her by my side at work, and looking forward every day to seeing the beautiful face of my little boy, I can honestly say that I've never been happier. Hey Lyle, I got those fresh cherries that your mom sent us. These are huge, and there's so many of them. I think she really outdid herself this time. I don't even know how we're going to go through eating all of these before they go bad. We'll definitely have to bake something.
Oh yeah, she's always doing stuff like that for people. She likes sending baskets of whatever fruits are in season as a gift. Although, now that you mention it, I've never heard of her sending anyone cherries, so that's new.
I guess she probably just got them special for me. Do you think?
I really wouldn't put it past my mom to do something like that.
She must remember that one time I told her that my favorite fruit was cherries. But that was a while ago. Your mom must have a really good memory to recall something tiny like that.
Well, then I guess that must be it, huh? She probably just remembered what you said and that's why she sent the cherries. Yeah, that woman is like an elephant and hardly ever forgets things.
Well, I think it's so sweet that she's done this for us. I mean, fruits, especially nice ones like these, can be quite expensive now.
I don't think you need to worry about that. My mom doesn't really have to worry about money, thankfully.
That's right. Sometimes I forget that your mom was an heiress, and that your family comes from some really old money.
Yeah, it certainly has been a huge help throughout our lives. And since Mom was an only child, that meant she got all the money for the family fortune. And then after she divorced my father, she still had so much money that I never really felt like we were wanting for anything while growing up.
Wow. Well, it must have been amazing growing up like that, not having to worry about anything. And your mom has still kept her sense of taste and style this whole time. It even shines through with these cherries. I have to say, compared to the way I was raised, this is like going to a whole new world.
Well, I'm happy that I can be giving you these new experiences at the least.
Actually, Lyle, if I can be honest with you, I was really, really nervous before you and I got married.
You were nervous? About what? What were you worried about?
I guess I was just worried that your mom would, I don't know, look down on me for not being from a similar background as you all. I was really scared that she was going to reject me and say that we couldn't be allowed to be together. But she's actually been such a sweet and caring woman, and I was completely wrong.
Yeah, my mom isn't really all that uptight about any of that stuff. I don't think I've ever really seen her look down at someone just for not having money. She doesn't have that kind of pride that other rich families might have. She may have money, but she's one of the people for sure. She's always willing to give whenever she can.
You would thought she would be the one to judge me, but I guess I was the one who judged her. I really feel kind of bad for the view I had of her before I met her and got to know her. I was so wrong.
I think that my mom really only cares that you're polite and respectful. But otherwise, she will give a lot of leeway and never try and boss you around or demand things of you. Speaking of, you might want to send her a thank you message for the cherries. I'm sure she would like that.
I actually just did. I told her how delicious they looked and that we would give her some kind of pastry I'll make with them. Also, she told me something about you just now.
Oh, really? And what might that have been?
She actually was asking quite a bit about you, actually. She wanted to know what time you come home most days, and if you spend your weekends with me, and just how things are around the house in general.
Well, that's kind of odd. I wonder why she would be asking you about all that sort of stuff.
I really have no clue. Maybe she's worried about you overworking yourself?
Well, if that's the case, then she doesn't have anything to worry about at all. I'm an adult who can take care of myself, thank you very much.
I know that. But you just got married, and your mom is just thinking about you a lot right now. It's natural for moms to worry about their children at any age, don't you think? You're always going to be your little boy no matter how old you get.
You might be onto something there. Maybe she's just feeling lonely now that she's realizing all of her kids are all grown up now.
Well, I feel like we both kind of benefit from your mom being so concerned about our adult family. She's always buying the sweetest gifts. Maybe it's her way of trying to stay in your life?
Well, as long as she holds on to all of her money, that's the important thing. One day she won't be here anymore, and then it'll all be mine.
I know that, but don't you think we should try and show your mom how grateful we are for all that she's done? Maybe we can think of something really sweet to do for her.
Hey Shelly, are you there? I just want to let you know that apparently one of my coworkers got a bunch of peppers from his neighbor, but he doesn't really want them. Do you think we could take a couple off his hands?
Oh, sure. I bet we could find something to put them in. Why not?
Got it. I'll take them home with me then.
Sounds good. Thanks for letting me know, Lyle. I appreciate it. Tell your coworker thank you for me.
Is that really all you have to say to that? I thought that you would be like over the moon happy to get something like this.
Well, I am happy to get them. Sorry, I guess I'm just a little bit off because your mom was sending me some weird messages.
Oh, really? What kind of things was she saying to you?
I don't really want to get into it in detail over text, but I don't think she likes that I'm married to you. Or at least, she said things that made me think that way.
What are you talking about? Of course my mom likes you, and she's so happy that we're married. I've never heard my mom say anything negative about you even once.
You really haven't? Huh. Maybe that means I did something to make her upset then.
Well, do you have an idea what you might have done to make her talk to you like this?
I really can't think of anything at all. She just started messaging me these things, and I didn't know why.
I still don't know what it is she was telling you. But do you think there's a chance you're just misinterpreting what she was trying to get across to you?
I really don't think it's that either. Her messages were pretty blunt and to the point, and I don't think there's a chance that I misread them.
But she didn't give a reason for why she was saying any of these kind of things to you at all?
Well, I didn't really have a chance to act. Before I could ask her anything, she said that she had errands to take care of and that she had to go. So I still have no idea why any of this was really about.
Well, maybe you did do something to upset my mom then. I have to say, though, I don't think I've ever really seen anyone who could do that until now.
Well, what do you think I should do? Maybe you can go and talk to her for me? I would love it if you could find what it is that I did wrong.
I could try to do that, but it would have to be while I'm not at work, since I would want to give this my full attention.
That's a good point. What about the next day that you have off? Would that work?
I'm afraid that the next weekend I'm going to be doing things for the homeowners association all day and won't have time until then.
Is that really going to take up your entire weekend?
Well, it's a general meeting and we already have a huge docket of topics that we have to cover. Not to mention the fact that I already have made plans for the evening after the meeting is done. So I won't have time once it's done. I'm sorry, Shelly, but you might just have to handle this on your own for the time being.
Right. I guess it really seems that way, doesn't it?
I have no idea what it is that my mom could be upset about. But I think the sooner you apologize, the better. She's not the kind of person to hold a grudge, so I bet if you just came to her wanting to make peace, then she might be wanting to talk things out with you.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I mean, even if you think of what you might have done wrong, it's probably better to just apologize for the sake of keeping the peace. We wouldn't want her to stop sending us all those nice gifts now, would we?
Okay, you're right. I'll go and talk to her and do my best to make things right between us. Hey, Tina. I was wondering if I could talk to you for a moment. If you had the time to, that is.
Oh, Shelly, please allow me to apologize for the other day. I thought about reaching out to you once I had finished my errands, But my day quickly turned very busy, and before I knew it, I completely forgotten to reach out to you.
That's really okay. But if it's alright, I would like to talk about the things you were telling me the other day. Especially about leaving Lyle. You weren't really serious about that, were you? If you know something that I don't, I would really like to hear it.
You're right. We didn't get to finish our talk the other day, and I'm terribly sorry if I left you with more questions than answers before I had to go. But I want you to know that you've done nothing wrong at all, Shelley. So if that was one of your worries, I want to nip that in the bud right now.
Well, that's a bit of relief, but I still don't understand why you want me to divorce your son. Is it that you don't like me? I know you said I didn't do anything wrong, but nothing else makes sense.
I'm so sorry if I've given you the wrong impression, dear. I really do think you're a wonderful person, and I have no ill will towards you at all. I think that you're truly a very kind person and probably a much better wife than my son ever deserves to have. I was trying to tell you that yesterday, but I was so nervous and my words came out jumbled, and I guess I ended up confusing you more than anything.
So then, something did happen that you wanted to talk to me about?
That's right, but I want to be clear that when I told you that you should divorce Lyle, that it was for no reason than your own benefit. I've come to learn that Lyle is having an affair behind your back, and that's why I suggested that you leave him. I'm sorry that I couldn't just come out and say that the last time we talked.
Wait, Lyle is cheating on me? Please tell me that this is some kind of joke or something.
I really wish that it were, trust me. I don't know what that idiot son of mine is thinking. I know it's not remotely enough right now, but I want you to know that I'm deeply sorry for his actions.
But how do you know about this affair? Could you please tell me how you found out? And what you know?
Of course. Let me start the story from the very beginning of it all.
That would be great. Thank you.
You remember the time that I went to go visit you and Lyle at your apartment, don't you?
Yes, that was sometime last month, wasn't it?
That's right. Well, after I had said goodbye, I got into the elevator to leave, and I accidentally got off on the wrong floor.
Yes, I remember you saying goodbye and heading for the elevators that day.
And you were the only one at home when I came to visit, remember?
I remember. Lyle had to work that day, and so he was out of the house.
Well, that's what I thought too, until I got off the elevator on the wrong floor, and happened to see Lyle still in the building.
Wait, do you remember what floor it was that you got off on?
It was the 6th floor, which is quite a ways lower than the floor your apartment is on. Do you have any idea if Lyle happens to know anyone who lives on that floor of your building?
I don't know of anyone off the top of my head. In fact, I don't really think we know many of the people who live in this building, since we tend to keep to ourselves.
I see. But I see Lyle with some other woman on the 6th floor. And I believe they went into room 612.
He went into your room with some woman?
That's right. And I know what I saw. I saw my son carrying an affair with this woman, without a doubt in my mind.
And you don't think there's a chance at all that you might be mixing these people up with someone else?
I know my son when I see him. You can count on that. And I really hope that you can forgive me for this. But after that, I hired a private investigator to look into my son.
Wow. You were so sure of what was happening that you thought to do something like that?
I couldn't believe that I were doing it either, but now I'm very glad that I did. The person I hired managed to uncover a heap of evidence that Lyle is cheating on you.
So then it is true. Everything that you've been warning me about is really happening.
Shelley, I am so sorry that you have to find out this way. But I want you to know that you can have the evidence I have in your divorce proceedings, and that'll help you a lot. I strongly recommend that you leave my son and sue him for his affair. Him and this other woman he's with.
Do you happen to know anything more about who this woman might be? Has your PI done any digging on her?
Well, I know that she lives in room 612 and that she seems to be married. And apparently, she's also part of the HOA with Lyle.
I can't believe that he's cheating on me with someone else in our building. It's literally right under my nose. How could he do this to me? Did he really think he could do this so close to home and never get found out? Does he think I'm an idiot or something?
I know how you must be feeling right now, but we can agree on one thing. Lyle is an idiot for doing this.
But are you sure that you want me to go through with what you said? You really want me to see your son?
I don't care one bit what you do to him. He needs to pay for what he's done to you. I also know what it's like to be cheated on by your husband. My ex-husband did the exact same thing to me.
And that's why you two got a divorce? Because he was cheating on you?
That's right. Although I never told Lyle because I was afraid that the shock of hearing the truth would be too much for me.
But in the end, Lyle ended up doing exactly what his father did to you, but to me. I suppose the apple really doesn't fall far from the tree.
It would appear that way, wouldn't it? Although I can't help but blame myself for this as well. Maybe if I talked to him about his father when I had the chance, things might not have turned out this way.
Well, now we know the real reason why you want me to divorce Lyle. Just makes me feel for you.
Don't you go pitying me just yet. I also had a hand in this, and I'm just trying to make things right.
Hey, where are you? How long are you going to keep me waiting for dinner?
I'm afraid that Tina's with us, and she won't be making you any dinner tonight.
Wait, what? Is this... Mom?
That's right. I take it that you're finally back from work.
That's right. So I take it that Shelly went over to your house to talk to you in person, right? Did you two make up?
Did we make up? What do you mean? Were the two of us fighting?
Well, Shelly was telling me that you said some things that upset her, and she was worried you were mad at her. Mom, you really should know better than to try and bully my wife like that.
What are you talking about? The only person who isn't treating Shelly right around here is you, Lyle.
And just how am I mistreating my wife, huh?
Well, you're having an affair with a married woman who lives on the 6th floor of your apartment building, for one. That's a pretty big deal, don't you think?
Wait, what? An affair? Mom, what are you even talking about right now?
Don't pretend like you don't know what I'm talking about, Lyle. I've heard someone to look into you, and they have plenty of evidence to prove what I'm saying.
You hired someone to spy on me? I can't believe that you would do this to me!
Well, I only did it because I happened to catch you and this other woman as you were about to go into her apartment. I just wanted a little more information to make sure I understand what was happening.
Well, you didn't need some stalker to follow me around. I'm your son. You can't just do that.
Don't you try and lecture me about what I can and can't do when you're the one who was cheating on Shelly. Do you even realize what a stupid mistake you've made? Shelly is a good woman and great wife, and you've ruined what should have been a nice marriage.
Just tell me, where is all this evidence you have on me?
I've already shown all of it to Shelly, so don't bother.
You're what? What's the matter with you? Why would you do that?
Well, how else was she supposed to sue you for your affair if she didn't have any evidence of it?
Sue me? Are you kidding me? Are you trying to ruin my life or something? What are you telling Shelly to sue me for?
Well, the whole reason I really hired someone to follow you was so that Shelly would have something to use. I wasn't just going to sit back and let you betray a good woman like her.
But I'm your son. You're supposed to be on my side, Mom. Why would you do something like this just for Shelly?
You think being a mother means standing by your children even when they're acting horribly. No, I'm afraid that I have to be more strict with you now. I'm going to make it so that you have no inheritance to claim from me, and you can say goodbye to the money that I was sending you every month.
Wait, are you kidding me? You're going to cut me off just because of this?
Just because? Now, precisely because. You are the one who is in the wrong here. You did the same exact thing that drove me to leave your father.
You mean that Dad also?
That's right. When I found out that your father was cheating on me, I kicked him to the curb. But I didn't want to hurt you, so I shielded you from the truth.
And Dad just never ever came back to talk to me?
That's right. Your father was a no-good rotten man, and you've gone and followed in his footsteps. But don't cry to me about it. You still need to apologize to Shelley.
Hello, Lyle. This is Shelley.
Shelley, I am so sorry. I know I've only given you excuses until now, but I want you to know that I never, ever meant to hurt you.
I just can't believe that you would cheat with someone in our same building. Here I thought you were just really passionate about the HOA. But really you were just looking for an excuse to spend more time with the other lady, weren't you?
No, you don't understand. She was the one that approached me. She only wanted to be with me because we live so high up in the building.
Is that really the best that you could come up with?
Well, since we pay more for our room, I guess she just thought that the people living here might be rich too. She only got with me because she thought that I was rich.
And that's why you started cheating on me? That's how you're going to explain all this? First of all, you do realize that neither of us actually paid for our apartment, right? It's all thanks to your mom that we've been living there. You don't even make that much money.
I know, but the other woman didn't know.
So basically, you also lied to the woman who you're having an affair with. Is cheating not enough lying for you? Or do you just get off on lying to women?
Please, you have to understand, it was just a little fling, I swear. I was never going to leave you for this woman, and I just told little white lies to smooth everything over.
If you believe that any of those things make what you did okay, you're dead wrong.
Shelley, I don't care about that other woman at all. You're the only one for me, and you know this.
Do you think that's supposed to make me happy, Lyle? I don't care about who this woman is. The one that I'm most upset with is you. You lied to my face so casually over and over again, all while carrying this out behind my back. Well, you better believe that I'm going to make use of this evidence.
Oh, please, don't do this. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to get divorced.
Well, I do. And nothing you say is going to change my mind. You have just been fooling around. But it's high time you learn the cost of what you've done. After that, I went to my parents' house to live with them for a while. Tina told Lyle that he was no longer allowed to live in the apartment that she had been renting for us, and promptly canceled the lease. As for that woman that Lyle was cheating on me with, her husband found out about the affair at the same time that he found out I was suing his wife for her part in it. The couple got in a huge fight, and ended up filing for divorce themselves. This woman had gotten with Lyle because she thought that he was rich. And it was only now that the two of them desperately needed money that she found out he was lying to her this whole time. Tina reached out to me to apologize many times after everything was all done and settled. But I always told her that I was more grateful than anything for what she had done for me.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.